Did it
It
work?
worked this time.
Oh,
What up, everybody? 40 Live to begin the show tonight. It is Friday, December 2nd. I can't believe it's already December, ladies and gentlemen. That means the Hot 10 show. I got the crew here. I got the one and only Ben S., the one and only Dollar, a.k.a. Richie, a.k.a. Popcorn Culture. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. You know what? I forgot to send out the link to Mel just in case he was going to be able to jump on. I always send it to him just in case, because sometimes he'll make it, sometimes he won't. Send it out to him just in case. And you guys know how this works. We kind of like go through all the hot books on the secondary market as chosen by that guy right there. Every week he writes the article, and we go through it.
Except last week.
Except last week, which you
and boy, I took heat for that.
Yeah, but you know what, bro? That was like a first time that you've taken the show off in forever, bro. I can't think of the last time other than when you've gone on vacation. You know what I mean? Like, and it was the day after a holiday. You get to spend some time with your family. We all needed that day off. We took the Hot 10 off that week. I took the Bogcast off that week. We took Comic News Weekly off that week. That was a good week to just kind of chill, let everything hang out. But I saw some of the comments. The comments were pretty funny, man.
yeah. So many people they can disagree with us, but they sure miss us when we're not on.
You're damn right. You're damn right. Speaking of that, we're gonna get into some evisceration right now, ladies and gentlemen. I saw something maybe a couple weeks ago. It happened. I didn't know about it. I didn't get to see it live. Unfortunately, I wish I would have, but I saw it about a week after. And I put a post about it on my community page over on Beyond Wednesdays. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I put a little community post up of a link to a spot in one of Thoreau's shows. Shout out to Keep It Thorough. Thoreau had a show where he was talking about controversies and this and that. And he had a bunch of people on, and he opens up the floor to anybody can jump on the show. And he had somebody, type in the chat, "Hey, I've got some stuff to tell you if you want to know about it." And he brings this Yahoo on, right? And I didn't know about it, and I you know how it is when you're in this content world and you're in the comic book content group, you always get information. You always got people saying, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see this? They're talking shit about you here. Did you see this? Did you see this?" And I'm sure that happens in every little community, but this really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. And I tried reaching out to the guy. Basically, don't know much about this guy. We've had little dealings with him in the past. I know Stein had a little dealing with him and Mel back in the day over something stupid, and the guy blocked Stein and Mel because he didn't want to have a conversation with them or something stupid. And this Yahoo decides to go on Thoreau's show and go on there and say, "Hey, I'm a comic book retailer and I got a ton of inside information, and let me sit here and spout off and tell you all this inside information." And I just want to say to you guys, there was not a single thing that he said that hasn't already been talked about ad nauseum for 3 years. Or he said a bunch of fucking silly shit. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those things. And I don't want to get too much into it. This isn't going to be the whole show. And you guys know I really try not to get involved in all this drama. It feels like it's been nothing but drama this last year. But we're going to get into this a little bit. I want to call this shit out. So before we do that, I want to say thank you to everybody here that's hanging out with us 75 live at the beginning of the show. You guys know how to support us. You guys support us by watching the show. You guys support us by hanging out with us live. You guys support us by checking in on the rewind. You support us by hitting those thumbs up. You guys hit those like buttons. That's how we get more people to the show. That's how, if you hit those like buttons now, it will affect people being able to see us live in the next 20 minutes. Every time an extra like button gets hit to that thing during a live show, the show gets added up in the algorithm, and more people will see it and more people will come into the show. So do us a favor, hit that like button. We got 80 live watching us now. Let's get 80 likes in there. Also, you can support us like Mr. Longshort did right here with a $20 super chat saying, "You guys are the best. Longshort, you're one of the best too. We appreciate you, brother." Make sure you guys are following Mr. Longshort. Yeah. Him and Ferdbird have just two amazing IGs where they do these little market reports that are just fascinating. And of course, Mr. Longshort does the amazing show on Nearing Nerdvana that they do every Thursday, I believe, which they just continue to kill it. And shout out to Nearing Nirvana, who just finished the show. We go on right after them and they send a bunch of people to us. But let's get into the bullshit for a second here. So, basically, you guys, this is what I saw, and this is the first thing that really pissed me off, and I'm just gonna play it for you guys. It's the best way I know how to do it. So this guy goes by Tim. Comic Core Promotions is the name of his retailer group or something like this. It's this guy right here in the bottom middle square, okay? And he basically said, he typed in Thorough's chat, anyone can hop in. If you want real inside, you saw my doc. I'm happy to give you guys more info. And I guess he said he made a doc on the C2E2 shit. He didn't say anything that people didn't already say. Like, he acts like he's like got all this inside information. He sounds like such a moron. And this is the type of shit that really pissed me off. Like, here we go.
And the worst part that happened with UF4 is that the hype that it got.
Yep.
The hype that he got is because of all these top 10 people, like the CBSIs and the Comic Toms of the world, and that fat guy that lost 200 pounds. What was it? Comic Gem. Gem. I mean, look, listen, man. I mean, like I don't know, man. But you know what? All power to him, man. He used to be 400 pounds. He lost 200. That's good for him, man. Like, that's good, man. So, like, all those people.
Hey, man, I wish I knew what he did to lose all that weight, man. If I could take the age removing remedy this guy has, and Jem's freaking weight reduced,
exactly,
I'd be a freaking stud, man.
Like, am I lying? Why? I'm like, am I lying? I don't know what y'all laughing for, man. That's good, man. He lost 200 pounds.
Is it true? Is it true? And we were more laughing because you were trying to get the name.
From his head to his ass, that's where he lost.
Yeah,
it,
he used to be a fat ass. Now he's like kind of thin. Good for him, man.
Exactly.
So essentially, they are paid. Okay, 100%. I can tell you that right now.
I'm sorry to stop you for a second.
Yeah.
You didn't factor in all the extra money they spent on those extra staples on that ass tape cover.
No, I will get to that too. So essentially, those guys are paid. 100% CBSI. I can use CBSI as an example. They are 100% paid. Okay, they get paid to put your book, your exclusive covers, to be part of the top 10, or they will make an article about your book.
Ben, are you paid to do anything on CBSI? There we go. There's the first part about it, right?
Okay. All you have to do is pay them a certain amount or bribe them with exclusive variant covers signed by the artists.
Ben, did this guy bribe you with any exclusive variant covers signed by the artists?
Nope.
And this is 100% true. And how do I know this is true? Because when I was a little green in thumb doing exclusive variant covers, I have hired CBSI and actually get my X Factor #1 by Scott Williams part of their top 10 and do a article about it.
Was that book ever on the top 10, Ben?
I don't even know what book he's talking about, but I can tell you that I don't even know who this guy is. I've never talked to him. He may have talked to somebody else. Never has it happened to me. Have no idea who this guy is.
No.
This guy went on to just talk shit and put out a bunch of accusations. I reached out to him. I tried to reach out to him. I haven't heard crickets. I reached out to Thorough saying, hey, I want more information. I want to hear more of this. He goes on to say that he paid Ben C to put his book on to write an article about his book and then to get the book on the Hot 10. He basically says, I don't think he knows that there's two Bens. So he keeps on referring to it. He makes a lot of stupid comments. And then everything else that he says that all these guys just sit here and slurp up. Like a couple of these guys on the show just sit here and like are acting like he's telling him like this amazing inside information stuff like, oh, when you're a retailer, you get books for $1.75 a piece, not $3.50 a piece. We all know that. We all know that books are less than what you bought. You get them for less as a retailer. The comment that he makes about CGC right here is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Okay, like I'm not good at math, but the fact of the matter is, how do you get all those 10s? In order for you to get a 9.8, the traditional way of doing that is sending a shitload of books. And
I want to
hits,
know. I want to play
hits.
that again. I want to tell you guys, the traditional way to get high grade comics, you guys, by CGC is to send a shitload of books. Is that the traditional way you get high grades, Ben? Is that the traditional way that you get high grades, Dollar?
No, I mean, I sent 6 in, and then I only thought 2 were going to get a 9.8. They got 4 got 9.8. So I don't know.
The traditional way that I get 9.8 is by looking at my books and make sure I'm sending in high grade copies. The way that I make sure I get 9.8 is by taking those copies that I already think are high grade and getting them pressed before I send them in. This guy's a fucking moron. And then he makes this comment, which makes him sound even dumber because I think he's serious.
That's basically it. They sent in 4, exactly fucking 4, and all of them are 10s. And you're telling me that shit's not an inside job? And then CGC went on to say, we are investigating this internally. The only people who says we're investigating shit internally is people who knows it's an inside fucking job. That's the only people who would investigate shit internally. Jay-Z needs to fucking look at this shit. Like, what are you doing, Jay? Like, you're just living up Beyonce's fucking music. Jay-Z, by the way, owns CGC. So for people who don't know.
What a fucking moron. Does anybody out there really think that Jay-Z owns CGC? I want to see ones in the chat if you think Jay-Z owns CGC. Seriously. If anybody out there really thinks that, because if you really do think that, let me just break it down. Jay-Z doesn't own CGC. Jay-Z invests in Blackstone Financial Group. Blackstone Financial Group bought CGC. A lot of people invest in Blackstone Financial Group. The president of the 76ers invests in Blackstone Financial Group. You can invest in Blackstone Financial Group. Blackstone Financial Group bought CGC, not Jay-Z. Listen, this guy...
I'll bet that 76ers owner has like 10 times what Jay-Z has.
I got to be honest. This guy went on this show and looked so dumb. And I'm very surprised. I love Thorough to death. I love Red Hood even more. Red Hood's my boy. But I'm very surprised that those two guys didn't call him out for some of the stupid shit he was saying. Those other two guys the other two guys, I don't know who they are, but you could tell that like they're just probably viewers and they really don't know what they're doing or really know who they're talking to or whatever. They just sounded like morons. And I'm not saying they are morons. I'm just saying I don't know who those guys are. But Thorough and Hood should have been like, bro, you are fucking an idiot. You are saying some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So basically, I want to say, Tim at Comic Core Promotions, if you really want to back up what you're saying, you have an open spot on Modern Comic Mayhem on Saturday nights. Let's get you on. I want to get on other of your peers, your retailer peers, and make you look like the biggest fucking moron that you are in the world. You are the biggest moron. And you getting in front of other real retailers will prove that. You know nothing. You're an idiot. And you go on and you try to make these funny jokes that aren't funny and you make accusations. You need to look into this a little bit more, my friend. He said he sold his comic. He owned a comic shop in Florida and he sold it for $100,000 and all this shit. Nah, man. Like, it was really, really disheartening. Very, very disheartening. This is the type of shit I don't want to see. This is the type of shit none of us want to see. Making comments like that. And anyways, I just wanted to say that. I wanted to start off the show by saying that. I wanted to start off the show by backing up my boy Stein.
Yeah.
Come
on the show. We're not going to right now. We're a little emotional. I'm holding back. I'm going to let Bryan vent out a little bit. I like seeing it out of Bryan because we don't often see this side of Bryan, but I'm telling you, the guy's an animal. Don't fuck with him. But anyways, or us. But anyways, long story short, we'll treat you like respect. honorable guest. I want to see these fucking receipts that you so-call have, the paperwork or whatever, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, receipts. I want receipts. If you're so sure on all this stuff, let's see receipts. And nothing this guy said proved to me that he's a knowledgeable retailer. Nothing. Everything he said was either seemed untrue or was information that we all already know, that we've known ever since I've been in this content creation world. Ever since in the last 10 years, he didn't give information that I have not known over the last 10 years. Nothing about exclusives, nothing. He said he had inside information on how CGC does things. The guy made some of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life from a retailer. So I don't know what to say, you guys, other than I'm very disappointed. You know, I think that when people go do shit like that, I get it. You guys don't, a lot of people out there don't like the quote unquote influencers. And there's this big, huge pitchfork thing for these influencers. But when people make stupid comments like that, we need to call them out. We need to say, hey, this is ridiculous. You look like a fucking idiot. And Tim, you look like a fucking idiot. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the good part of the show. Let's get into some comic talk. Again, everybody out there, 136 live watching right now, thank you so much. Let's get into my favorite part of the show, the Almost 10. Starting off with a killer Mike Mignola sketch cover that kind of reminds me of some of that early sketch art from Hellboy that we saw recently be auctioned off.
Yeah.
This is a book that I've never seen before. Hellboy and the BPRD 1952 #1. This is the cover B incentive sketch variant cover. Pretty damn cool sketch cover, especially from Mignola fans. Mignola fans out there go crazy over this stuff.
Yeah, this has got to be real. I mean, because it's like, there's no trade dress on this, right? This is just the cover, right? Just like I think when I saw this initially, I thought that it was an actual, like, a blank book that he just sketched. But I don't even know if it's like a 1 in 25 or what is this? I don't know, but it sold for 300 at what's the other Hellboy that's like a ghost, like it's like $1,000 variant that you wouldn't even know that it was $1,000 variant unless you knew what that book was. What is that
I
one?
forget it. I forget it because
It's on
of
Recalled, right? It's on Recalled Comics, I think.
Yeah, like this one, I would look at it and be like, yeah, I mean, if it was sitting in a back issue bin for like $25 or something, I'd be like, yeah, I think I probably should, even though I don't even know what this book, even though it doesn't say what it is, I think I would be like, yeah, I probably should buy this for $25. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's sweet.
Yeah, it's a cool book. It was very interesting because, you know, that prelim sketch of the Deadpool stuff sold recently at Heritage from Rob Liefeld. I think both pages, he took one page and he cut it into two, and each page sold for a little over 30 grand each, I think, something like that. And this is the type of stuff that reminds me of like prelim sketch stuff. And, you know, I could see this being like an old sketch that he did or something, but it does say from 2017, it looks like on there, but very, very cool. Very, very cool sketch cover. The true embodiment of a sketch cover, right? But anyways, let's get on to the next one this week. For all the nerds out there, a Star Trek book is on the Almost 10.
Oh yeah, this one's. I don't know who is this character. I don't even know
This
who
is
this is.
Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine, right? And again, I know this because I'm reading it. I don't know anything about Star Trek, or Star Trek is for nerds. But it is Star Trek #2, the 1 in 50 incentive Ward variant. So Christian Ward, great cover artist. There's been a couple, I'll be honest, there's been a couple Star Trek covers lately that have kind of made me go, oh man, that's really nice art. That Aja one was really good. And then this one's really good too.
Yeah, I don't. There's a 1 in 25 that has a trade dress, and then this 1 in 50 is a virgin. it's there. Obviously, you wouldn't think that there would be that many of them out there because it is a 1 in 50. Um, I think I've got written down here that there was a sale for 100. There's only a few listed, so I don't really know what the value, but I figured because it just came out this week, so I was like, well, it's probably better to at least mention it. That way, if you guys see it for some strange reason, again, this kind of one has kind of that look of that's probably an expensive book, just
Yeah.
with the coloring and it looks different than what we normally see.
Yeah. Great cover, man. Great cover. Even the trade looks good just because of all the color on it. There's something about that, the vibrant colors. You throw the pink and the yellow together, the pink and the blue together. You match those colors like that, and it just changes everything. So, really cool book. How much did you say this was selling for?
100. It kind of looks like he's putting like his little taser or whatever through like a waterfall or something, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah. Or like the what do they call that? Fuck on when Thor the Bifrost, but Star Trek version.
Well, yeah, where they call that? Yeah, what is that? Where they come down and they
Bifrost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, next on the list, one of my favorite books that I will never I never find any of the really cool covers for this book. They're so tough to find, but I'm always searching, and that is Darkwing Duck. And this is Darkwing Duck issue 18. There's 2 covers for this. This is a cool cover right here, but this is the cover. This is the cover B for this book. Absolutely badass. This is Darkwing Duck number 18 from 2011. Old school Kaboom logo. I love that. And tough book to find.
Yeah, last issue. And this kind of unusual. Normally we're talking about last issues in Marvel and DC. Not so much some of the other indie publishers or whatever, but um, Darkwing's got definitely got a following, and since they're starting Darkwing back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this one's what's that on the A cover? What's that robot?
I forget
What?
his
Yeah.
name. Chat, let us know his name.
Gosh, I can't even remember it. It's like Robot Duck or something. I can't remember what it is, but
Launchpad?
yeah. No. Launchpad's the helicopter,
Okay.
the pilot. Um, but yeah, $60 book for an A cover. I do have several of the variants for like some of the other ones. Gizmo, yeah, Gizmo Duck. That's it.
Gizmo, yeah.
See.
That's a great name.
Good job. Who said that first? No, or late night?
Nice.
Late night.
It's a free Stein pack. Bam.
No, said it first. um, oh yeah. By the way, for all you anybody who did buy a Stein pack, I will probably be open those tomorrow. So thank you guys for that. Like I don't think you guys have any clue how much I'm giving away in this. All these books behind me right here. These are like additional choices. So you can get several of these books right here that are sitting on the board.
We'll break down the Stein packs after we get done with the almost 10. I definitely want to keep on that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, any of these Darkwing, honestly, if you see any of these Kaboom Darkwing issues, I would just buy them all because they're most of them are really hard to find, even A covers.
Yeah, very tough to find. All right, here's a book that Stein is just gushing over. As soon as he joined backstage, the first thing he said, he's like, "Did you see this book?" Ladies and gentlemen, our first foreign of the night. Shout out to all the foreign comic collectors out there. Huge news in the foreign comic community the last couple of weeks, starting with the Heritage auction and some even bigger news that we'll get to later. But this is a tough book right here. A rare German variant for Tomb Raider number 23, the Virgin variant from Germany, limited to 250. And I don't know the artist. I don't think Stein knows the artist. Chat, if you guys have seen this before and you know the artist or anything, either let us know in the live chat or drop a comment below. We want to know more about this book.
Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, it's got. I see a signature, but I have no idea who it is. It's a $50 book, but I don't know who. I mean, I don't know if this has ever been another cover outside of Germany. It's not like I go out and buy a bunch of Tomb Raider books or anything like that.
Right.
But,
what's up, Josh?
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about you later, Josh. But yeah, cool book. Again, I'm not huge into foreigns or anything like that, but if there's a great cover that's kind of foreign exclusive, kind of like like that Lobo, that Batman Lobo, is a foreign exclusive cover. The uh, the Michael Turner,
Supergirl.
the Supergirl, those type of things that are, um, those are definitely, interesting books to get if they have new art on it.
Yep.
Do you just a random question? Do you guys like the new Laura Croft they casted? The shorter.
I didn't really get into it.
Okay, I mean it was actually decent.
You mean from
Tomb Raider?
5 years ago?
Yeah.
With was that Vic Ander?
Vic Ander. Yep. Yeah, she's pretty good. So
she was
yeah, I
good
like the
in,
side boob. The side boob.
She was good in Ex Machina.
Hell yeah,
Yes.
dude. So good. I love that movie. Good call.
Yeah. All right, next on the list, this is a book that I mentioned in a recent market report on the radar. A very, very tough book to find at all. Old school independent book, one of the OG independent books that was part of that crazy independent phase back in the late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s. Knights of the Dinner Table, #1, still being published to this day. I think they're like over, I don't know how many 100 issues. It's something crazy. Nowadays, they'll do some really cool homages here and there, and still kind of slept on, but a much beloved series, tabletop gaming, storylines and stuff like that. But I've seen this book get pulled out of a dollar bin at Jesse James Comics. Shout out Jesse James Comics here in Arizona. I saw somebody pull one of these out of a dollar bin there, and it blew me away. Tough book. What did this sell for recently, Ben?
Yeah, so apparently there's only like 3,000 copies of this, maybe, or something like that. I mean, there's not many, for sure. And I think they're actually either at 300 issues. I mean, basically for an independent, the fact that it's like close to 300 issues is insane. Because this came out in like 93, and I think so Spawn came out in 92 or 91, something like that, 92 or 91. And this would had like a 4-issue mini, and then it started the ongoing like right after that. And it's basically gone on forever.
Yep.
I don't it's weird. I don't know how it's gone on for that long, but 2 separate sales. There was a VG/fine copy sold for $350, and like a VF near mint copy sold for $550. And
Yeah.
I think there's actually a CGC 9.8 listed on eBay right now for like 2,200 or 2,300. Honestly, that might not be a bad deal because I can't imagine there being that many 9.8s of this.
Yeah, tough book. And I wonder if it was self-published. Is it Kitchen Sink Press that's the publisher, or
it's Kitchen Sink now though, right?
Okay.
But I don't know.
Alderac, right? Through Kitchen Sink. So the issue 1 was the artist and writer created Jolly Randall Blackburn. The publisher was Alderac. Alderac also did just the 4 issues, and the 4th issue, and they're all scarce, like Ben and Brian was saying, low distribution, not rare, scarce. That means low, and if you're not aware. But long story short, number 4 is actually a pretty cool cover. We don't have the graphic for it right now, but it's like they're at what's called a Gary Con 1996, and it's all these vendors, kind of like a comic book convention or a trade show or something. It's pretty cool as well.
Hey,
Nice.
The only thing I know about Knights of the Dinner Table, and I think it's either issue 50 or 51, and this is going to sound really weird. The cover is dude on a motorcycle jumping over a shark, which is, like a famous saying because of Happy Days.
Yep.
You know, when Fonz jumped the shark, and that was basically the end of the show. And I want to get that book, The Knights of the Dinner Table, with him jumping the shark, signed by Henry Winkler. So if anybody, I can't find that book to start with, but I know Winkler still does cons and stuff like that. And I really rarely ever want like autographs. But if anybody can find that Knights of the Dinner Table, like I said, that's it right there, 151. Yeah. So if anybody can find that, let me know, and I'll buy it from you. Preferably higher grade, but yeah. So I want to get that signed by Henry Winkler.
Yeah, they do a lot of really cool covers, really funny covers, smart, jokey covers that I like. So I talk about them all the time on Comics News Weekly whenever we go through New Comic Day stuff. But all right, on to the next one, you guys. This week we have a very, very cool cover by Tula Lote right here. This is plush number 1, the Tula Lote variant, a new book, right? This is out recently. Really, really crazy storyline. Again, another book that we talked about on Comic News Weekly this last week. A bunch of furries at a furry con and vampires.
Well, yeah, we talked about it 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's just like what Brian was saying. It's a bunch of like cosplayer furries, and this person is either being attacked by them or being trolled by them, and she becomes a superhero and wipes them out. But that's just kind of like a footnote version.
So this just came out this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I seen this a couple of weeks ago. I thought it came out a couple before, but I could be wrong. Maybe there was a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a pretty Lotte cover. A lot of blood splatter all over, but yeah, this is selling for like 10 to 15. So if you see this one again for cover price, this might be a
again, look at the color palette. That blue, pink, and yellow, man. You get those 3 colors in any combination, or just 2 of those colors in any combination, and you're starting off pretty well. So
yeah, I totally agree. But go to my comic shop, guys. There's 2 copies left for $3.99. Go.
Eat. All right, next on the list, you guys, we have a very, very tough book that I didn't even know existed. A Fables book, Fables number 6. This is the retailer roundtable program variant from Burbank, California in 2002. So 3 RRPs were given out at that conference that year. This Global Frequency number 1, and probably the most famous RRP of all, Batman 608. All were limited to around 200 copies.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge fan of this cover, but man, this has got to be a tough one to get. I think I saw, I don't even know if it was I can't remember if it was for sale or had sold, but there was one that even had a detached cover that people were trying to sell. You know, like how in the world do you have a modern with a detached cover? But he did. But this one did sell for, what I say, 200 for this. But yeah, this all these RRPs and stuff. Whenever you start going into these super weird distributed,
Distribution,
yeah, these weird distribution books. I love those kind of things. You know, like the mail-ins, anything that is so hard to find. I love those kind of books because you just don't ever see them in general.
Yeah. Rarity, man. I love rarity. Mail-ins, books like this, crazy promotional books, you know. I learned of a new crazy promotional book this week, a tough Venom book that was in a ESPN the magazine or something like that. If you guys want to look into that more, go to Comic News Weekly's most recent show on Simple Man's channel. Shout out to Ryan from Rhinoverse, who talked about that book. Those are the type of books I love hearing about. Those are the type of books we love to put on the Almost 10 and let you guys know about. So what does this usually sell for again?
I couldn't find any prior sales other than this week. I mean, I have no idea what it sells for before. But I mean, like you said, I mean, if there's only a couple hundred copies out there, I mean, how often does it really come up for sale?
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
Brian, you're
right.
right. Plush One did come out this week. I was misremembering because I covered that cover on the my FOC Hump Day
There you
Heroes.
go. There you go. Yep.
Nice.
All right, next on the almost 10 list, we've got Ultimate Fallout number 3. Of course, everybody going gaga for Ultimate Fallout number 4, which you guys has a monster print run, like ridiculously huge, massive print run, and has dropped more than half in price for 9.8s. I think 9.8s were selling at a high of a little over $3,000 last year, and now they're down to like 1,200, I think. I saw a post recently on IG of one of our community members pull this book and an Ultimate Fallout 4 out of a half-price books for $1 a piece. So
this one I don't get. 9.8 sold this week for $800. This is not the variant. This is just the regular.
it's because it has the
teaser,
the little teaser in the back. Yeah,
Miles. Yeah,
I don't get it. It's like it, I mean, I guess. I mean, but it's not really a preview. I mean, it's not even. It's basically from like here. I mean, it's like here. It doesn't even show his covered head. I mean, it's like from here to here, and it's like blown up. I mean, it just basically just shows like the Spider-Man suit is all you see. You don't even. I mean, nothing, and it just says next issue. I mean, if you're gonna go that, then if you're gonna try and make that claim, then you can never try and stand on the back of 181 being first Hulk. I mean, like if that's what you're going with, then you cannot possibly, or even Venom, first being 300. I mean, you can't possibly do that.
It's not in the story. It's
it's not even in the story.
Yeah.
Even as Never Enough Comics says, you might as well go make sure you look at Ultimate Fallout 1 because it has the Jurjevic, Miles cover in the back. So I think you know what it is, you guys. I say this every time this comes up. There's fans out there that are such big fans that they want them all. There's Harley fans that want every Harley appearance. They want to get Batman Adventures number 11 because it mentions Harley in the little preview in the back. They want to get that Almost Got 'Em tape deck book. They want to get the coloring book preview. They want the magazines. I get it, man. That is what collectors do. And especially collectors those are their favorite characters. A lot of people came into this game because of Miles, and there'll be more coming into this game because of Miles in the future. So the only thing is that there's so many of these books printed, you guys. So many. It is absolutely ridiculous how many Ultimate Fallout 4 printed copies there are.
Do you have an idea, like a rough estimate?
Hold on here. I think I do. As a matter of fact, shout out to our boy Josh, International Comics, and a couple other people. I think we're in it might have been Popcorn Culture's group chat talking about it recently, the print run on that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So I mean, there's just a massive print run on there.
You can't even go by like Comic-Con numbers on it because everybody, all the retailers were just, I mean, they were buying boxes of them for like a quarter.
Yeah. Right. By the way, a 9.8 peak of Ultimate Fallout 4, 9.8 peak was $4,500 in April. It's now down to $1,719, 62% change.
That's what the second print Bagley was going for. Actually, no, it was actually lower than that. So it's basic. Wow, cut in half. Actually, cut 60%.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is take that into consideration, and then this book right here sells for $800. Now, that doesn't make any sense.
Goddamn top 10 shows.
Next on the list, you guys. A lot of people obviously wanting Jason David Frank stuff. Rest in peace. Unfortunately, it seems like every year we lose a couple people that we admire or love. Unfortunately, to suicide, and depression is a motherfucker, man. And we all go through it. It's a human condition. It's something that for some people is very, very tough to pull themselves out of. And I think it's very important to take a second here just to remind everybody that if you're feeling that way at all, find a friend, find somebody that you love, that you care for, and let them know you're feeling that way. Talk about it. Let somebody know that, hey man, I'm not feeling okay right now. You know, I just need to talk to somebody, and it will change. It will change. It will help. We all need somebody in our life, whether it's a friend or a loved one or a spouse, that not only, you know, we can say, you know, hey, I'm really angry about something. Can I talk to you about it? And they can talk you down from, you know, being angry. They can talk you down from a ledge. They can give you good advice on something. And, you know, if you're feeling depressed, you know, reach out to somebody, get help, reach out to somebody, you know, medication, if that's whatever it takes. There's always a way out, and this too shall pass, just like everything else. So, you know, a lot of Jason David Frank stuff being sold. I've seen a lot of Green Ranger and White Ranger stuff being sold. And here's one on the Almost 10 this week, a Green Ranger variant. This is the second print variant right here. Yeah, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #0, the second print variant.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying all that too, Brian, because I think it's very important. And I saw some, comment from somebody in the chat that said something like, it's, a lot of people don't have anybody. I think honestly, I think a lot of people in our comic community can can kind of basically take the place of family members sometimes I feel like you guys are more my family members than some of my actual family members. I mean, it's like, we talk about comics, but we also know we're human, and we can talk about real life stuff and things that are going on in our real lives. And so never, I know me personally, and I think you guys probably feel the same. Even if you guys, even anybody out there, if you ever feel anything, if you have no one else to talk to, and I don't know you at all, but my chats are always open, and I think you guys are the same way. So
yeah, it's funny because I never hear Ben rip on anybody ever. Best guy to talk to. Probably, I would say 1 and 1A. The next best guy to talk to, they're going head to head, is the guy right above Ben, Bryan McClay. This guy's talked me off a few ledges. When I didn't have shit to do. We were all stuck in the house. Everything was driving me nuts, and I cared about what everybody said on the internet. And I grew out of that, luckily, at 45 years old, which is embarrassing to say. And, so thank you too for saying that. That means a lot, especially coming from me.
Amen, brother. Amen. So yeah, this book right now selling for what, about $25 on the secondary market?
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it's just a second print, but I mean, this was all those head variants that they did for this zero. This one was the second print. It was it was always like a $10 book, but now
I also think that a couple of books to be on the lookout for that are actually really cheap are the first appearance of the Green Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #2. You can get that. There's a direct and a newsstand. As you can see, they're pretty cheap, $40 for high grade copies raw. And then also issue #3, I believe, is the first appearance of the White Ranger, which, yes, most Power Ranger fans know is same character. So be on the lookout for those early issues, first appearance issues. You can get them high grade 9.8s for less than $100.
Do you guys know? I mean, two questions. One question. Do you guys know, like, are these low print run? Because I don't know anything about Power Rangers.
I'm not sure on the print run of Power Rangers stuff. I'm pretty sure that the print run on this Power Ranger stuff from Boom is a very high print run. They were printing this stuff out ridiculous. Again, another shout out. You guys hear it all the time. Big shout out to Jesse James Comics, who did some really cool exclusives with Power Rangers stuff. He always had stacks of Power Rangers books. So very, very cool stuff. Yeah, man.
It only takes one adaptation knockout, and boom, next thing you know, those $94 9/8 are $994 9/8. So act fast.
Amen. You know what? I also saw a lot of that. I do those market reports where I love to look at toys and action figures and stuff, and a lot of boxed, signed these swords, the Green Ranger sword, from the toy back in the day. And that was for the generation that, is just younger than me. I was never a Power Rangers guy. I was too old for that. I was a G.I. Joe and a Star Wars guy. I think that the generation, after me, it was the Power Rangers group. And I know that Green Ranger sword was always such a grail item for a lot of kids. And those are actually, you can get them for a pretty decent price if you're into that stuff. So be on the lookout. All right. Next on the Almost 10, a Perillo Warlords of Mars. This is a beautiful Warlords of Mars cover by Perillo. Warlords of Mars, number 14, the 1 in 15 variant.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know we talked about these Warlord of Mars Perillos before, but I don't remember which one. I don't think it was this one. I think it was a different one, but this one sold for $150 raw this week. So I mentioned the last time we talked about these Warlord of Mars that some of these sell for big money. Anything from from 10 years ago, from Warlord of Mars, Vampirella, or Red Sonja that's Perillo. If it's hard to find, it's expensive, and don't pass it up.
Yeah,
basically.
Beautiful stuff. Be on the lookout for I always look for, there's 3 artists that I always look for in these type of books, right? This and Vampirella and stuff like that. It's Perillo, Delato, and Frizen, right? So great stuff. All right, I got a couple more that I added to the list this week. Next on the list, this is an interesting book that I totally forgot about. A badass Skottie Young variant, Guardians of the Galaxy issue 25 right here. This is a 1 in 15 Iron Man variant that Skottie Young did. Feel like it's an homage to, what was that big robot cartoon back, Iron Giant, something like that.
Iron Giant.
But yeah, this is a $70 book raw.
I didn't realize this was Skottie Young. I've seen this book before, but I just didn't. I guess I never put 2 and 2 together that it was Skottie Young.
Yeah, beautiful. Early Skottie Young art. I wouldn't say like early, but 2010.
Yeah.
Tough book.
What is Skottie Young's first cover?
That's
it is. I know this. Hold on. You're gonna make me bring up my list. It is. Chat's gonna get to it before me, but I'll let them do it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I know it. It's on my list. I have to pull it out. Is it Mega Man? Yeah, Mega Man. Yep. Mega Man.
And then he did an interview I found online in 2009. About 2009, that says that he actually did an earlier one than the Mega Man.
Yeah,
I don't remember which one it was.
It's not Mega Man. Didn't he do one of the ones where it's a comics publisher that did a really rare Goon cover or Goon storyline, if I'm not mistaken? Digital Webbing. Yes, Digital Webbing number 2. Thank you, Patrick. There's a really rare Goon storyline in Digital Webbing, and Digital Webbing number 2 is his first cover. Yeah. So I love Skottie Young stuff now. You know what? I've loved Skottie Young for a long time, but not because of he's an artist. He used to have a really cool podcast back in the day. He was one of the first guys podcasting back in the early 2000s, before, like, right as iPods came out. He was on a podcast that he did way back in the day, and I can never remember the name of the podcast. Chat, if you remember that name, please let us know. But it was a really good podcast about comic books, and it was a comic store and really good stuff before he was getting regular artist work. It was cool. It was very cool. So, all right, another one, a book that I love that's very, very tough to find. This is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original glossy promo. This is a tough book. It was written and drawn by Francis Mao, and it was produced by Sega as a promo copy, issued in Canada and the United States to publicize the release of Sonic the Hedgehog game in 1991. So it's smaller. It's about this big. And they also put these as inserts in certain books. You can find those in certain comics where they're inserts, but this is not the insert. This is the glossy cover. Very, very tough to find. And a copy of this sold this week, a raw copy for $285 on 23 bids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's not the newsprint. This okay. This is the 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 one, right?
Yes, you got it. Yep. Very, very tough, small, glossy version. So very, very, very tough book to find. All right. Next on the Almost 10, a book that Richie brought up many moons ago, back during the Flipside days, if I remember correctly, on the old Prospect 10 show that we used to do.
And Modern Comic
Amazing
Mayhem.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man number 253. First appearance of Wilson Fisk's son, the Rose, who is just recently announced James Gandolfini's son's going to play him in the TV show.
Yeah, it's a speculation because he's casted into Daredevil Born Again. They just haven't announced the character he's playing, but dots together. ASM 83 is your first appearance of the Schemer, which was later revealed, I think, via retcon, but not really sure, as Richard Fisk, son of Kingpin. So that would probably qualify as your first appearance of Richard Fisk, the son of Kingpin. But then the most important book, and if you guys missed my live stream today, I went through a Digging In with Dollar segment on this character, why I believe that if he is casted, Michael Gandolfini, as Richard Fisk, I believe he's going to be playing the Rose. So check that out. But yeah, this is an important book, and I think it's I spent maybe 4 hours today reading ASM 253 all the way through the Gang Wars from 284 to 290, Spider-Man versus Wolverine #1, the Death of the Hobgoblin. I mean, there's a lot of dot connecting there, and you guys will have fun with it. But yeah, I think this is a cheap book. There's Mark Jewelers, newsstands, Canadian price variants, and you can get high grade copies for a good price.
And it's a book that was kind of on a lot of people's list to pick up when they saw it, just because it's a early black costume appearance of Spidey, obviously being one issue after 252. Great cover when you look at the roses and him clipping the roses and the battle in the background. But I think more importantly, looking for those tough to find Mark Jewelers or the Canadian price variants might be your play on this. By the way, you guys, make sure you guys are subbed up over at Popcorn Culture. He's 10 subscribers away from 600, you guys. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you're not subbed up to Richie's YouTube channel, go do it. There's the link. You can also find it in the video description below. Let's get him over 600 subs. He just did a show today, right before 2 hours ago. Make sure you guys go check it out. A lot of information. He's always dropping very, very interesting nuggets over there. So make sure you guys go check it out.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next on the Almost 10, one last book. Well, books. And I've never heard of these. Rubber Blanket. Have you ever heard of these? Anybody ever heard of these books? These Rubber Blanket books? This is David Mazzucchelli's comic books called Rubber Blanket. I think that they're anthology series, and he does a lot of stuff in it. Richmond Lewis and David Mazzucchelli do a lot of stuff in it. It was put out in 1991, and it sells for a lot. I think there's 3 issues total, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Issue number 1 sold for $123 raw on 16 bids a couple days ago, and issue number 2 sold for $180 on 22 bids that same day. So tough series to look for, to find. You never know, you see something like this, take a look at it. If you can get it for cheap, finding a half price books, it might be taking a shot.
What is this even about?
Rubber Blanket. Let's take a look here. It says,
this seems really uncomfortable. I don't think I could sleep with a rubber blanket.
Yeah. Depends what you're into.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
Let me take a look here. Let me see here. It says alternative anthology stuff. So I bet you it's a bunch of little series. But let's take a look.
That's a hefty cover price.
Yeah, it says was an alternative comics anthology magazine edited by husband and wife team of cartoonist David Mazzucchelli and painter colorist Richmond Lewis. It was self-published under the banner of Rubber Blanket Press in a deluxe oversized format from 91 to 93, 3 issues total. And it's mostly a showcase for Mazzucchelli's stuff. He largely turns his back on the superhero work that made him a fan favorite and moved towards a personal storytelling style with bold and expressionistic artwork. 3 stories earned Mazzucchelli the 72nd position on the Comics Journal's list of best comics of the 20th century. So that's pretty damn big deal that, Comics Journal added these at number 73 for best comics of the 20th century list. That's interesting. So yeah, go check it out. And if you see it, pick them up. Might be worth $1 or $2.
Almost $6 cover price, like Ben was saying. That cover price from 1991. Wow, I wonder what it would cost nowadays. Like $30.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Must be a lot of good stuff in there. That's a good pick.
Yeah. All right. That was the Almost 10. Thank you guys for checking it out. Make sure you guys go check out Beyond Wednesdays. Tomorrow we will have Modern Comic Mayhem. We do shows every Wednesday and every Saturday live. Go check out last Wednesday's On the Radar. Great show, great episode. Check out the Market Report. Lots of fun stuff. We'll see you there. Let's get into the rest of the list, starting off with our Golden Age honorable mention this week, Mystery Men Comics, number 30.
This one's crazy. First of all, this is pretty rare. This is a pretty rare book. It's sold on Heritage, and they said that this is only the 3rd time they've ever had this book, like ever. Like that's how when you're talking about Heritage, who basically this is their specialty, is selling these kind of books, and they've only sold this thing like 3 or 4 times ever. No, the cover is not Lou Fine. The cover is who did I see? My mouse is not working here. Oh, there it is.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I had it. I listed it on the website. Crazy cover. The one thing I can't figure out is what is going on in the background behind Blue Beetle there, like in that tunnel. Like, what is going on? Because it looks like somebody else is bondaged up in the shadows, right?
Yeah. Charles Nicholas is the penciler and inker in the Guts. Did you do the cover as well?
I did. The cover is Ramona, or like is
Roland Petrande.
Ramona Patinaude is the cover artist on this.
Roland Patinaude, or Pat. Roland Pat is what he signs as.
I don't know. The MCS had it listed, I think, as Ramona, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who these people are. Just crazy cover, really, really hard to find. I don't know what the like the Gerber scarcity, number that they put on it or anything like that. If anybody knows in the chat, if you've got a Gerber list,
cover date January 42. Holiday death synopsis for the Blue Beetle. And then there's a few other deaths. That's a very interesting book. I love the cover.
It says, there people are asking in the chat, is it Phantom or Blue Beetle? But the little
Blue Beetle.
The top left corner next to number 30, it says Blue Beetle with the picture of him. So I'm assuming it's Blue Beetle, but
it is Blue Beetle.
Just again, some of these when we talk about some of these rare modern books, there's 200 of them or something like that, and then you look at books like this that basically just never come up for sale ever. Like, I don't even know where you would find this. Like, if you're like, I really want this cover, like, where would you even go? I mean, Heritage sells it. Heritage sold it three or four times in 30 years. I mean, like, you don't even have an option to buy this.
You got to get lucky.
Yes. Spectre deck. What is this? 1942? Is this what is this?
Yeah, January 42.
Yeah, 1942.
Old
Yeah.
school.
So something you either got to pull out of a pawn shop or secondhand store, or you buy a collection, right? And you pull it out.
Something.
Yeah.
10 center. Interesting.
Oh, price on this. CGC 4.5, $24,000.
Purple label, blue label, do you know?
Blue label.
Wow.
Blue label. I think there's only maybe 5 or 6 in the census. It's very, very, very low census on this one.
Very cool.
Yep.
Tough
we know.
book.
Hey, we know somebody in the chat that can go out and buy this right now if they want to.
We do. We do. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right. Next on the list, a book that another guy we know that's into foreign comics probably owns one of these, a Crow book for our honorable mention this week. The Crow. Wrong Crow book. Damn
That's the A cover, but this is the 1 in 25.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know if that's a James O'Barr. Yeah, that one's not a James O'Barr cover.
This is it right here.
Nope, the other one.
This one right here.
Yep, that one.
There we go. So this is the Crow Death and Rebirth #2. This is cover D right here.
Yeah,
tough book.
Yeah, again, this is another one of those you just look at it and you're like, that's, even though I'm not a huge James O'Barr fan, like of his art or anything like that, this one with all the dark, the 2 crows sit on the trash can, and then the red roses that are kind of washed out. Yeah, it's just, and the skull. There's just all kinds of things. Yeah, it's just one of those covers that you look at and you're like, yeah, I need to get that one for sure. But this one's pretty hard to find. Two separate sales, $75 and $90. I've been telling you guys forever on these IDWs. Kind of the same way with some of those, 10-year-old Perillos. These are just books you just don't see very often. If you see them, even if you have to pay $10 for them, that's pretty much like what I do a lot of times on a lot of these IDW books. If I see them and I'm like, man, I've never seen that one before. A lot of times I'll just do a quick search. If I don't see it listed anywhere, I just buy it. I don't even question what if it's actually worth it. Because when people find out about these kind of books that are so hard to find, then it only takes just a couple people to make that $10 book all of a sudden a $75 to $100 book. So
yeah, very, very cool book. You guys, 172 live. Right before we get into the top 10 books this week, I want to say thank you for everybody out there supporting us. Please hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. It'll bring more people into the live show. We get more viewers, help out the show a ton. And also shout out to those supporters that give us super chat, like Uniform 13 for the $2 super chat. He says, the House of Stein, Friday nights, a 9.8 blue label show. I like that. I like that. That's a good one. That's pretty dope.
It gives me the feels.
Before we get into the rest of the list, I want to do a quick little spotlight on Stein packs.
Nice.
All sold out, right, Stein?
Yes, all sold out. Waiting on just a couple extra payments. I'm probably going to. I said that I wouldn't contact anybody, but I probably just contact these couple last people. Yes, so this is just a sampling of what is in there. All those slabs are all in this. Yes, that's a Last of Us #1 variant 9.8. All of these books behind my head here, which is this Fringe 9.8, this Zatanna Boland variant. There's a Dark Knight Plat. That's a 9.8. a GI Joe
Wow.
special #1. Those are all in play. And just it's going to be crazy once I actually do the video. I'm also going to giveaway. Basically, yes, giveaway. A newsstand Green Lantern number 29.8, first Jessica Cruz. It's like a $750 book. Basically, going to probably be giving that away for pennies. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I get really good deals on books when I find books like these. I don't pay anywhere close to high dollar for them, so it's better for me to pass these savings on to everybody else, and get them in hands of people who deserve them, and want them and stuff like that. Yeah, all those raws are all going to be in there, but it's mostly going to be there's only 50 packs, and I think there's probably 37 slabs in play. So
I don't think people realize how rare some of those books are. That Snake Eyes book is one of my all-time favorite books, probably top 10 all-time favorite books. Such a tough book to get in high grade. And that Fringe book is super tough. You can find those in high grades, but so tough to find. And you know what's funny, bro, about you showing off that book? Here's two books that I recently pulled out to sell.
Nice.
Yeah. So
wow,
these Fringe books are super, super rare, you guys. If you don't know the story on the Fringe books, go do a little bit of research. It's a lot of fun. Really cool idea how they kind of use these as plot points in the actual TV show. So
wow, interesting.
Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of in those slab boxes, a lot of first appearances are in there. I'll spoil a couple of them. There's a Darth Vader 398 in there. There is what else is in there? I'm trying to just think off the top of my head. You guys can see a couple of the raws that are sitting there. I love that Uncanny Avengers, that Greg Land, that up in the top left hand corner. I love that book. That Invincible is number 51. That's the second print. That's like a $100 book. Yeah. So
are you going to open all those? Are you going to do all those on the YouTube channel, right?
All of them will be on the YouTube channel. So everybody will see everything open live. The trick is before I actually open it, you can actually trade for one of the books on the wall up front without knowing what's in your pack first. And if you do that, then whatever's in your pack goes up on the wall, and then somebody else can trade for it. So if you're like, man, I really want that GI Joe, I don't really care, and you trade it away, and all of a sudden in your pack was the Last of Us 9/8, that's like a $700 book, then the next person's probably going to trade theirs away and get that, but then theirs goes up on the wall. So
it's like a breakers, like card breakers, but you're going to do it for comics with pure transparency. So if you guys are pissed off, you guys can give it to them, and if you're happy, make sure you give it.
Yep. So congratulations to all the people that did get in. I tried to make it as open as possible. I usually, like I said, I only do this like twice a year, and I limit the spots. I never do an unlimited, like a lot of these mystery boxes. They're like, yep, they're $50, but they could produce 500 of them or 1,000 of them. You have no idea how many they're actually producing. I only do a limited number of spots, so you know exactly what's in there, and I'm super open about what is actually going out. I show everything. I give current values as close as I possibly can. Obviously, if something sold in the last day after I put these together, that's different. But I try and be as open as possible on a lot of these things. So, yeah. I appreciate everybody who buys into these.
Yeah, very cool. Make sure you guys are following us on IGs. All three of us, we always have excellent stuff on our IGs, content and deals. as we sell comics and cards as well as collect them. So, all right, here we go. Let's get into the list, starting off with the 10 spot this week with Eve #1. A lot of talk on this book the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened because I thought that this somebody mentioned that this was like option like several months ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin from Twitter, he goes by @multiple_migs. He added Victor Lavelle. Is it true Eve from, and he added Boom Studios, has or is getting option? Saw someone mention it in a comic group, but wasn't sure if it was true. And then Victor Lavelle, who verified account, he replied pretty quick, and he said it is true. There's an amazing team hard at work to make it a reality. If you guys want to see the tweet yourself, just go to @multiple_migs, MIGZS.
Okay, well there you go. I will say that this book had basically fell off the face of the earth. Like you could buy #1, this book right here, for like $2, and you could get 9/8 for $30, which is just insane. When you can buy #1, you know, of something like this, 9/8 for
Less
$30,
than
it costs you $30 to get it graded. Um, so the fact that it was that low to start with, now raws are selling for 10 to 15, 9/8 are $70. It's not like it's huge, super to high dollar, investment. There are a bunch of variants for this. But yeah, I mean, good on whoever bought them. I think buying 9/8 for $30. Philip Chung sent me some stuff the other day. There were some Star Wars books and stuff that 9/8 were selling for like $19, and it's like, I mean, if you have any disposable income right now, you should be buying books for sure.
Yeah, it's the prices on books are absolutely crazy low. You'll see books that we're selling, for $2,000 sell for $700, and the next in 20 minutes later, another one will sell for $300. Like it is bonkers how crazy sales are always kind of low around this time of year. That's a known thing in the secondary market for comics. But with the economy and everything else going on, I don't know. A lot of people are saying it's a correction. Shout out to Swaggle House, shout out to Journals Comics. They've been doing some information on that lately. And is it a correction? Is it something more? Who knows? But prices are very low for a lot of stuff, and I'll actually be hitting on that for some very interesting books tomorrow on Modern Comic Mayhem. So come check it out. All right. Next on the list at #9, a second week in a row, you guys. Star Wars Hidden Empire won the Art Adams Darth Maul variant right here. I love this. A lot of people don't like it, which I understand. I get it. There's a lot of people who aren't fans of Art Adams, which that surprises me. A lot of people think this kind of looks like the Todd Knock head variants, but I love this. I love Darth Maul. He's my third all-time favorite Star Wars character, and great cover right here. So on the list here at #9, Star Wars Hidden Empire #1, the 1 in 50.
Yeah, this was, I mean, when it was on last list, it was 50 to 60. Now it's 70 to 80. I'm in that crowd that's not a big fan, but
there is a
what do I know?
There is a second print 1 in 25 that is coming too. So
yeah, but I'd rather have the first print. I mean, the color makes a lot of it. Plus the the way that the color meshes with the eyes, and
you totally lose the eyes.
No.
The reason why I like the black and white is because it shows more of his art below the coloring. So I think I like the color more, but the black and white is still good because you see a lot of the actual pen art, and I love that.
They should have just if they're gonna make the black and white, they should have left the eye color and just had a spot color.
Oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
With just
you're
the
right.
eyes.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Love it. All right. Next at #8 on the list this week, Earth Divers, #1, an IDW book. Great Raphael Albuquerque cover right there for Earth Divers. Crazy story. I think we talked about this maybe a month ago. Futuristic story, 2112. Apocalypse expected, and rivers receding, oceans rising, civilization crumbling. And, it's one of those types of books with going back to like crazy stuff going on in the seas, pirate ships and stuff like that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know much about this book at all, but yeah, I mean, like future book or future, apocalyptic type scenario, but then they use time travel to go back to 1492, which is so strange, right? Like it's a
Kill Christopher Columbus before he reaches the New World, so it doesn't cause the growth and the apocalypse, which is awesome. I mean, everybody talks about how time travel, as soon as time travel is involved, you ruin stuff. But I think that's a cool little play on it.
yeah. So, I don't know if there's something specific going on with this. It was only selling for like cover price. Now it's $10 to $15. So, um, I I would say that I would probably pick this up just to read it because it sounds like an interesting premise. No, I mean I tend to like apocalyptic type things.
Oh yeah.
But then to throw in time travel on top of it is kind of interesting. So
Yeah.
I probably would pick it up at least to read it.
Those end of the world adaptations or series and movies, they're very popular. Very popular.
Yep. All right, next at #7. This was a weird one. When I started hearing about this, kind of blew me away. This is one of those books that you almost forget about. Spider-Man: The Lost Years, #1.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this came out in the mid '90s, and I remember this, but I remember this miniseries. I mean, because I collected back then. Um, I'm not sure exactly what this is like all speculation driven. Somebody has thought of a speculation with some new character, Hallows Eve, being the first appearance in this book of the character that was Ben Riley's friend or
Girlfriend.
something. Girlfriend, I
Elizabeth
don't know.
Tyne, aka Janine Godby.
Okay, I don't even know how many names can you have. I don't know. I mean, it seems a little strange. I mean,
Well, this
yeah,
here you go. Here's the character, and this kind of helps out a little bit because this is the cover that everybody was talking about recently. So,
I mean, that's a gorgeous cover.
Yeah.
Whoever did it, but I don't know how that all ties back to this Spider-Man. But basically, I mean, it went from a $5 to $10 book to a $15 to $20 book. So even if it happens that character is this same character, I don't really. I'm still trying to think of what value you would be placing on this character.
Apparently, this book. Not to interrupt you, I apologize. Apparently, this book was on Key Collector's Wednesday list. It's just called the Knicks Picks. Is like last summer or what have you, and somebody dropped him the info by the Infamous, and he updated on the app that the speculation was that Janine, who was Godby, aka Elizabeth Tyne, girlfriend of Ben Riley, will be the identity for that upcoming character that Brian just showed on the screen, Hallows Eve. And then November 2022, as Brian just alluded to, the speculation was confirmed. So
there you go. That's way more than I know anything. I just knew this was selling, but I didn't know why exactly. But there you go. I always thought this cover was really odd. Like I couldn't like visually, his legs just I can't make them work because he's got two kids in his arms, and I'm trying to visually make. How did he get his knee? Yeah, how did I mean, when I'm running, my leg does not kick up that high, especially if I'm carrying two kids. How does that happen? I can't figure this one out. So
I want to go. I want to go one of these times and live stream Ben Stein analyzing an art gallery.
and I know it's really sad. That is it. I'm too picky, especially because considering I can't draw at all. So, um, it does.
I
Spidey does
agree
look
with
like
you.
that's in
I thought
foil
the
though.
same.
Is that in foil though?
Yes. Yeah. It is foil. Red foil. So all right. Next at number 6, you guys. G.I. Joe number 300. Is that right?
Yes. This is the cover A. The 1 in 50 Virgin doesn't have any of the trade dress at all. It's basically
No.
just.
Are you sure?
G.I.
Because
Joe, a real American hero, 300, 1 in 50 version, Jamie Sullivan.
Yeah, this one's the cover A.
Yeah,
well,
the-
here's what I got, and this is the reason why I say that. So here's the cover. Oh yes, you're right. This is
it's a
the
wrap.
version
Yeah,
here.
it's a wrap too.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. So it's like your favorite, Where's Waldo type thing.
Mhm.
There's a lot of characters on this cover.
Still
I
can't
mean-
find the fridge. Serious,
I
I
mean-
can't find the fridge. I found everybody else but the fridge.
Is it on the back cover?
No,
I mean,
I've
on the
looked.
wraparound portion.
No, I looked. It's not there, dude.
How long did that take you to go through all that?
I think we
Looking
did
at
it on Saturday night a couple Saturdays back, but
That's crazy.
I still can't find the fridge.
I mean, this one. I mean, it's a 1 in 50, and it's not like there's a huge amount out there. I mean, they're selling for like 100 and a quarter. So, but I mean, it's everybody kind of knew this was going to be the last issue, and so I mean, it's not like it was a surprise. Like,
Well, there
oh,
was a surprise in it. Did you see what happened in it?
I did not. No.
They brought back Snake Eyes, which is very interesting considering this is the last issue. Why bring that character back unless you're going to continue some type of storyline with the new publisher? I'm just really looking forward to once we get a new publisher.
And they still haven't said who that publisher is?
No, not for sure.
That
Everybody's
is so
still
weird, right?
thinking it's Skybound, but I hope to God it's Skybound. Please be Skybound. Clutch and Kirkman, make it happen ASAP, because
I mean,
we said
that's really odd. I mean, you would have thought that would have been like ordered long, months ago. That it would basically just continue next month, starting. I mean, it's not like it's some random, property. I mean, it's GI Joe. I mean, if they take a month off, okay, well, I could maybe see them taking a month off, but I mean, would they really take 3 or 4 months off? I guess. I mean, I guess they have to since they haven't even pre-ordered it yet.
Yep. So
Hmm.
love it. I'm all for any type of GI Joe being talked about. The John Royal stuff has been great over the last year, 2, which is awesome. So go check out all the recent issues. But how much is the 1 in 50 selling for?
125 plus.
Ooh,
So
not bad.
yeah.
Not bad. So, all right. Next on the list, another book that surprised me that they made it. And I'll be honest, I don't like this one as much as the original with the wet T-shirt. Pop Kills, the second print, the Adam Hughes second print for Pop Kill #1, limited to 1,000. And the original is still one of those grail books for me that I still need to get one. But, man, sometimes when you clothes on a woman kind of leave a little bit to be imagined. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I know everybody's like, I'd rather just, see it. But, with the wet T-shirt and everything, it kind of played a little bit more with having the fire hydrant go off and all that stuff. And I don't know, man. It's just,
Yeah, and I found it interesting that this is actually the #1 issue, and the original is what, issue number 3 or 4,
is
something
it
like
2?
that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
number
buy it.
4. It's the number 4 Pop Kill #4.
Yeah.
It's the
So,
second print.
but this is just basically a second print of issue #1. So it's very strange. Yeah, and really, when you break it down, like they made bank on this. I mean, these were some these were $100. I mean, it wasn't like they charged like $30. These were 100, and they made 1,000 of them. Let that sink in. 100 grand. So they made bank on this one. Sold out like instantaneously.
It happened a couple
And
of times this last couple of weeks.
yeah, people already have them in their hands. I don't know how they got them so fast, but they already have them. They're selling for 200, so they've doubled in value. Yeah, I mean I'm definitely with Brian. I like the original better, but yeah,
It is
it
what
is
it
what it
is.
is.
I love how people are calling this the Jennifer Lawrence variant because it definitely looks like Jennifer Lawrence. That's for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh. I wonder what the play is with the big sheepdog and the kid at the bottom. You know, like the sheepdog play. Like, is that Adam Hughes as a kid or something? I don't know. Anyway, this next book on the list, you guys. This is why I love Bad Idea. This is why shout out to Dinesh. This is why I love Dinesh. I know everybody gives him shit. This is the reason why I think he's a fucking genius, because he pulls off stuff like this. At number 4, the first 7, you guys, on the list, and the first 7 days. And this is a very interesting play. For those of you guys that don't know, there's a really cool article written on Bleeding Cool about this where I'll give you a rundown. So basically, one of the things that Bad Idea likes to do is just throw these things out of nowhere where people don't know they're popping up. And they've sneaked comic books into shops in the past with Hero Trade, and they did it in the preview, the Diamond Previews catalog recently, with another book, and they did it again with this book right here. So the first 7 days, number 1 was originally put in previews from B-Side Press. And if you guys haven't seen the image of it in previews, here's the image of it in previews. As you can see, it shows the back cover and it says from B-Side Press, not from Bad Idea, B-Side Press. And here's the back cover of the book. And this is the front cover. So basically they kind of snuck it in there. And when you open up the book, it's kind of cool.
Which for anyone who doesn't know, Bad Idea doesn't deal with Diamond. All their stuff before was direct to retailers. So they didn't deal with Diamond at all.
Yeah. So there you can go. It says when you look into it, it says you found Bad Idea.
Yeah,
So,
I love the cover, and the back cover is cool too.
Yeah,
good job,
so
Dinesh.
This is what it says. It says, congratulations, you found Bad Idea. More precisely, you found one of the very rare Bad Idea Secret 6 comics. This book is one of a series of 6 comics snuck out into the world in sneaky and duplicitous ways, each masquerading as something other than Bad Idea. It all began with the Hero Trade, technically the first comic published by Bad Idea and the first of the Bad Idea Secret 6. We sent 1 copy to each of our 154 Bad Idea destination stores in unmarked manila envelopes back in late 2020. The short black and white comic by Matt Kent and David Lapham contained no credits, featured a company logo for Buttoned Up. What does it say? For Buttoned Up Comics. We were super into buttons back then. It was a whole thing, and it was printed rough, almost cheap filling paper. Each copy was accompanied by a letter that, while truthful, gave store the impression that the comic was a fan-made work put together by a customer. Again, just more promotional stuff. And basically he goes on to say, now that you're all caught up, it's time to enjoy a trip into penciler puppet-filled world of the first 7 days. But stay vigilant, keep a lookout. You've discovered one of the Bad Idea Secret 6, perhaps 2 if you're lucky enough to secure the Hero Trade. But there are 4 more still to come, or they're out there already. We can't say. That's the cool part to me. They could be out there and we just don't know about it yet. And I'm sure they are. It says here, Secret 6 will, it says that what we can tell you is that each of the Bad Idea Secret 6 will arrive in a completely different way. Each will be found in a place comic books are often found. Each will be more than they seem, and each could be anything except Bad Idea. fucking genius, man. Creating like a treasure hunt, all that stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, I got my hero trade back just the other day, 9.8.
Nice.
So.
Well, and for anybody out there that, because I've put bad idea books on this list before, for anybody out there that thinks I'm promoting Dinesh at all, I have never talked to Dinesh. I have never received all these other people that received all these hero trades, all these other books, all this. I've never, ever, ever gotten anything from Bad Idea. I kind of wish I would have, but I've never gotten anything from them at all. So I've never even seen a hero trade in person. I didn't even know you had one, Brian, but
I was lucky enough to pick one up. And you know what else? I also picked up one of those Sacred Heart ones that they were giving out in San Diego at the special party thing. So
cool.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I am a big fan. I got a lot of respect for Dinesh. Dinesh has been nice enough to, I consider him a friend. I've hung out with him before. I've done multiple interviews with him. I shoot him texts every now and then. I consider him a friend, and I really respect what he does, and I respect what he's done in the past, and I enjoy it. I enjoy shit like this, and I'm not mad at it at all. I hope he continues to do this cool stuff and have a good time doing it. He's a comic fan at heart. He is a huge Valiant fan that decided, he wanted to be an even bigger than just a Valiant fan. He wanted to own Valiant, and he eventually owned Valiant, and he continues his love for comics. He just put on his Instagram page a recent pickup, which is the original cover art from Dan Jurgens, the Death of Superman cover issue. He owns the cover for the Death of Superman now. Like, he's just loves comics, and he's a collector. And what do collectors love? They love searching for stuff that they collect. And this is a perfect example of it, like creating these hidden things. I always love the guys that are like, go geocache hunting, and then they put something new in the geocache and put the geocache, like that type of stuff. That's what I feel like this is. So I don't know, man. It's fun. I think it's cool.
I agree. I mean, I like what he's doing or don't. It's different and it's innovative, and it's, you gotta give credit for those type of things. You have to.
What's it selling for right now?
This is a $40 to $50 book. So
wow. Might be a good buy.
Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, I haven't been to any stores. So I don't know if, like, the ones that I normally go to would have even ordered this. I mean, they probably would have looked through previews and been like, I'm not ordering anything from B whatever press or something like that. They're probably, I mean, that it would seem super, super indie. Which there's a couple stores that I know that do order some super indies. So, but my guess is probably at this point, people know, and they probably already picked them out. But I might try this weekend to see if I can find it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, next on the list, you guys, we talked about it on Wednesday night on the market report. I started the market report off with a huge sale for our boy and a good friend of the channel, and a great community member. And I'm going to jump around real quick here just to show you guys. Let's see here. I think it's right here. All right, here we go. So shout out to our boy, Josh at International Comics, who is a foreign comic extraordinaire. We watched this all go down live, you guys. We were reporting on it as it went down. A lot of people didn't know what we were reporting on. They didn't realize it. But if you go back and you watch all the shows, the Hot 10s over the last month and the Modern Comic Mayhems over the last month, On the Radar over the last month, you can see us dropping hints about it. And this is one of this is flip of the year, you guys. Last year's flip of the year, I think, was a tie between me and Vinny Kumar. I flipped a $200 Alexander Ovechkin rookie for $43,000, and Vinny flipped a $16 buy-in for a pack of cards into $43,000 for the Shohei Ohtani rookie.
which I'm still so mad at because I was in that break.
Yeah. This year's, and you know what's funny? Both of those flips were at the end of the year last year. So at the end of the year this year, guess who decides to jump in the running for flip of the year? Our boy Josh, International Comics. And you can see it right there on the left, you guys. Sold October 23rd. What the original seller put as a reprint, Josh recognized as being the actual book. He contacted the guy. The guy said, no, I don't think it's a reprint. And Josh bought it for $180 on eBay. He sent it in for quick turnaround grading at CGC. It came back as 6.5. He put it on eBay in the end of November for $40,000. It sold for $35,000, you guys. A $35,000 flip. Shout out to our boy Josh, International Comics, for flip of the year. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe that he pulled that off. Just fantastic stuff. So,
and it was pressed by our friend Philip Chung.
Yes, it was. So make sure you guys do yourself a favor. Follow Josh at International Comics. He is a foreign comic extraordinaire that just continues to up the bar. He just started working over at Cover Price doing their foreign comic stuff. He will be updating their foreign comic information and hopefully doing an article on it. And you will also see him over on Beyond Wednesdays soon, starting a foreign comic show over there. So foreign comics are such a big part of the collecting community now, and this just goes to prove it.
Yeah, and it shows you stepping out. I know as speculators, investors, when we step out of our comfort zone, we shy away. That's the one good thing about Josh. If he don't know you, he will help you. Yes. Second off is that step out of your comfort zone, because I'm seeing, like Ben was saying earlier, we're seeing books that we have to have that are foreign. So I'm in.
Yeah. And so for those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about here, this is El Sorprendente Hombre Araña, number 128, or The Amazing Spider-Man, number 128, the Mexican version from La Prensa, I believe. And a lot of people don't know about this. We're going to fill you in really quickly. This is what's called non-canon Spider-Man stories. So for those of you guys who don't know, go follow International Comics. Go follow the Tales from the Flipside crew. Has a great little show that they used to do called Global Comic Safari, where they did a deep dive on this with Matt Roybal, who is one of the OGs in the foreign comic community, where they talk about the non-canon Spidey stuff, where basically in Mexico, in Latin America, they loved Gwen Stacy so much that they didn't want her to die. So when Marvel killed her off, Latin America said, we're going to continue writing stories about her because they love her so much. So they continued writing stories about her where she married Peter. And these are stories you can only find in La Prensa Amazing Spider-Man issues. They are super expensive now because of how rare they are and how important they are to a major community in comic collecting. Very cool.
And she's got a big booty.
AKA Big Booty Gwen. So.
Did I tell you guys the time I got locked up in Tijuana? Dude, I followed, just a little side note, I followed, you remember the infamous Torrey Pines US Open that Tiger won in 2009 with the putt, and he got the infamous red and black? Followed him around all weekend, but unfortunately I couldn't see the Sunday live because I was eating stale bread and drinking horchata, and I'm not joking. And there was also a pail of water in the TJ jail, but I ended up getting out on my own recognizance. So
did you have to trade your shoes for it?
No, they were actually really nice in the jail. They were the only people that didn't try to rob me on the way there, and that includes the police. And I'm not trying to rip. I love Mexico, but Tijuana is a whole different situation, and they were really cool to me. And I just don't suggest getting in a bar fight or anything like that in Tijuana.
Mexico, yeah.
Man, that sounds like The Hangover Part 4.
Yeah, maybe. So. Good luck, you guys. Just if you're interested in stuff like this, or this kind of piques your interest at all, go check out the Facebook group, the Foreign Comic Community Facebook group. It is a well of information that will never go dry. Trust us, especially if Matt Roybal is part of it. One of the most interesting people in comics, in the comic community. Just a great guy with a ton of information, and he's ready to talk about it. That's for sure. So go check out the Foreign Comic Community Facebook group. All right, let's move on to book number 2 this week. Another one of those books that printed a ton of copies and instantly sold out and was being flipped even before they showed up in people's hands. At number 2 this week, the Deadpool #1 Ken Lashley Biggie variant.
Yeah, we talked about this pretty much right as soon as it dropped. I don't remember. I think it was we might have had it either as an honorable mention or maybe the almost 10. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but we talked about this. I tried to tell everybody. I think you should. I don't usually give many predictions, but I told everybody then. I don't care if the print runs 3,000. I think you should buy it.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a hit, and people are like, it's not even sold out yet. You can still buy it. I'm like, I get it, but I think I would highly suggest you buying some. Some people did, some people didn't. Now they're all sold out, and they're selling on the secondary for 125 to 140. Yes, and it does look like Melvy.
Yeah,
Well, old Melvy, he's like way skinnier now, and he looks really lean, really good, and he looks good there. That's a great cover. And by the way, I will attest to Ben. He nailed this one early, and he is not the exclusive investor, and he doesn't even tell us anything. This guy nailed this, and I slept like an idiot.
And a lot of people are eating off of it. And I would suggest that if you can get them graded and sell them quick, get them out as fast as possible. So
yeah, although I mean, I tend to think even at 3,000
or more.
I mean, it just feels like this because first of all, this is the first Biggie cover. So I mean, it's a little different than our next book, but this one's like the first one that he's been on. It just has I don't know, it's just got just a different feel to it that I think
Totally agree.
the people that are buying these are not necessarily, I think some of them are flippers, but I think a lot of them are non-comic people in general. I think these things have now made it out into the pop culture ether, and they're the ones that are actually buying these because our comic minds say, oh, there's 3,000 of them. I shouldn't spend more than $30 on this thing. But people are spending 140, 130 on these things. So,
wow.
So somebody is in their mind saying, and it's people out there that are not comic people. Well, they're buying them. They're not selling them. They're buying them to keep. So all of a sudden, if you get 2,500 of those out of circulation, then all of a sudden there's not going to be very many left to flip. I don't know. I mean, I think this is probably one to hold, but
I say flip it, baby. All right. Next on the list, from one hip hop cover that sold out and is being sold for a ridiculous amount to another. At #1 this week, you guys, The Amazing Spider-Man #1 M&M variant. This is the original one that was first sold, the 1 out of 5,000, the La Roca full color variant. That also included a rare signed version that you could have picked up, signed by Eminem, which were selling for 5 times.
Yeah,
18, yeah.
Yeah, and then see, this is what's confusing. So they made 5,000 of these, but this one is selling for nice pull, Brian. Good job, man. That's impressive. But this one's got 5,000, and it's selling for more than the biggie. This one's selling for 175 to 200. It is live. I will say that every person that I've seen that did order them, I did not order the M&M one. I only ordered the biggie one. I did not order the M&M one. Everybody that I've seen, they shipped them in this massive white envelope, and all the postal people are just folding it in half and shoving it in a mailbox. So there are going to be and no bags, no boards, just basically just loose comics and just in this big huge envelope with nothing to say do not bend. It's not even like a sturdy envelope. It basically everybody's is just folded in half. So from the people that I've talked to that ordered like 3-4 copies of this, they said like one of them one of them was heavily damaged, and then the other ones are so I'll be surprised on this one if there's going to be very many 9/8s. And then somebody decided to do a spot color of this with 1,000 copies. Those are not live yet, but they are pre-selling for 500, 600, something like that.
They were selling for 700 plus before they went on sale on eBay, you guys.
Holy shoot.
Yeah. So again, this now Eminem posted this on his Instagram, I think, or his Twitter or something like that. So again, once you break out of our little comic bubble and put it out into like real world type things, that's when all of a sudden when you're looking at like, man, there's 5,000 of these. Well, yeah, but there are what 25 million Eminem fans that are perfectly happy spending $200 on this book.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. So when you start thinking of it like that, you're like, well, okay, so 5,000 is a lot in the comic community, but in the real world, that's not a whole lot.
Right.
Now this is not my favorite Emmett. I still like the Avengers where he's sitting on the step.
Yeah.
With Iron Man the best.
Me too.
But I would buy that one over this one, but that's just me.
Well, here, this is very interesting right here. Let me show you this real quick. There you go. On the left, November 29th, the signed version selling for $1,250 to $1,800, and at the same time, one of the Punisher Eminem, a 9/6 sold for $1,350. So I love that one too. I love the Punisher one.
Is this like 6 degrees of separation for the Punisher or something like that? Or
You
Eminem?
You got it. Yep. Amen. Bro. Amen. So crazy stuff. And here's the problem with this, you guys. And I called it the second I saw this book, the Biggie book was selling. I said, the new run is going to be getting all these musicians to do exclusive variants now. We're going to have a ton of hip hop artists and rock stars and do all these exclusives. And the next thing we're going to know, we're going to see, comic content influencers putting rappers on books. And, we're going to see tons of these things start showing up. It is going to be the new meta to sell retailer exclusives. And I don't know how I feel about that. We're going to see. We're going to see what it does to the market. And, time will tell.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Brian. I think they're gonna unfortunately, our comic people there are a few innovative people out there, but most of them are copycats, and they're gonna say, oh look, they sold out of 5,000 of these at whatever $30 a piece or whatever it was. Oh well, shoot, we're gonna get whoever. It's gonna be Jay-Z. It's gonna be Snoop.
EMX,
it's
Run DMC, yeah, Snoop, yeah, all of
whatever.
them.
Yeah, well, whoever. Hey, there's books out there of Taylor Swift. You don't know they're Taylor Swift, but there are out there.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, if you are looking for those Taylor Smith Models Inc., or I think it's Models Inc. #1, and then there is a Grimm fairy tale with her and Kanye, I believe, are on the cover.
Yeah, man. It's going to be very interesting. What I will say, though, is this. There is a small subset of really rare comics that artists, including rock music and country and hip hop artists, did for promotional items back in the day. One that I just finally picked up after years of looking for is one by Denzel Curry. Denzel Curry did one where he made a comic book that came with a little 10-inch record. That's tough to find. There's, the Coheed and Cambria comics that I like to talk about all the time. Be on the lookout for those rare promo ones. Those are the ones to collect, and that are, a lot of them are really tough to find, especially those early Evil Inc. Coheed and Cambria ones. So, all right, you guys, that is the Hot 10 for December 2nd, 2022. We are almost done, almost the end of the year. I want to say thank you to all 150 that hung out with us live at the end till the end of the show. Stein's got his Stein packs coming up. When are you going to do the Stein packs, opening them up there, Ben?
Probably tomorrow.
Okay, so check out Stein tomorrow right here on this channel. I did have a whatnot sale tomorrow, but I changed it because I know everybody's going to be watching Stein packs to Sunday. So I have a huge cosmic sale. Nothing but cosmics, crazy Adam Warlock, Guardians of the Galaxy, Silver Surfer, Galactus, Thanos, all kinds of crazy Marvel cosmic stuff all day Sunday on Whatnot. Go check it out. Bookmark it. Link is in my description on my IG. Go check it out. Make sure you guys follow each and every one of us on our IGs and our YouTubes. Lots of great content. Don't forget about Drunken Chat Son immediately following this over on the Mighty Mel V channel. We will see you soon. Adios.
See you.